What's up everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today's video I'm doing the quarter year crisis book tag. I saw this video on a few people's channel now and I thought it was a really fun tag. I love these like check-in tag. We have the mid-year freakout tag, we have the end of the year book tag, and now we have the quarterly book tag, which I thought it was really cool and I really wanted to do it. I think this is the perfect time for everyone to kind of check in on their goal, check in on their challenge, and kind of see if they're up to date, if they need to refocus their energy on anything, and just it's kind of a good reset button. So I thought I would do this tag today. I will leave the creator of this tag down below so you guys can go check her out, and without further ado, let's get into the tag. So question number one is, how many books have you read so far? And I went on my Goodreads and I am now at 23 books. I'm only counting the books that I've read up until the end of March basically, because that's the first quarter. So I read 23 books, which is not the best numbers, but I knew that going into this year. When I set up a few goals, I knew my number of books that I was going to read this year was going to be a little bit lower than usual. I wanted to focus on physically reading books instead of audiobooks. As much as I love audiobooks, I just wanted to refocus myself and read a little bit more physically. So I knew for me, reading physically, it takes a little longer to read books. So I knew my number was going to be a little bit lower. So I'm still up to date on my Goodreads challenge. I'm still good for my Goodreads challenge. So all is good, all is fine. I'm really happy with the books that I've read this year. Question number two is, have you already found a book you think might be a 2022 favorite? If not, what was your favorite book you have... Wait, what? If not, what was your favorite book you read that wasn't quite a 5 stars? Since I'm only considering the books that I've read up until March, because I did just finish a book which was amazing, but I'm not gonna count it. I haven't read a new all-time favorite book in the first quarter of the year. I've read some really good books, but they were not like 5 stars new all-time favorite book. I did read the first 2 books in the Poppy Wars series, which I haven't finished the series yet, but I'm planning to do very soon. But the first 2 books were amazing. They have been on my TBR for the longest of time, so I was really nervous getting into them, but so far they have lived up to the hype, they have lived up to my expectations. So they were really good books, like not all-time new favorite books, but they were favorite books that I'm pretty sure they're gonna pop on the best book of this year at the end of the year. I'm pretty sure they will. They're just not all-time new favorite books, but they were really good, and I'm really happy that I finally read them. The question number 3 is, any 1-star book or least favorite book of the year? I don't have any DNF this year so far, up until March. But I do want to talk about the first 2 books in the Mindfuck series. They were kind of bad. They were 2 stars, super disappointing. I do have a reading log on them, so I will link it up above if you want to go check it out. But I was so hyped and so excited to finally start that series. I've been hearing so many good things about that series. That series had like a 4.7 average rating on Goodreads, and like thousands of people have rated that book. So it's a really popular book and everyone is loving it, but the first 2 books were not that good. They were really not well written. I just really did not like it. The series overall ended up being a pretty good series, one that I will remember, but the first 2 books, they were kind of bad. So next question is most read genre, which really surprised me. I thought it was going to be fantasy because I have been in such a fantasy mood lately, a fantasy kick lately, but apparently I have read the most romance book this year. I think it also has to do with the fact that all of the Mindfuck series were entered individually and not as one big bind up. So that maybe has to do with it, but still, apparently my most read genre is romance book. But at the same time, it does make sense because romance book, I knock them off pretty quickly, I read them pretty quickly, and it's still one of my favorite genres to read as well. So it's not too surprising, but I thought fantasy would have won up until now, but there's still time. Next question is a book that surprised you, and I'm gonna go with a romance book, and it was The Charm Offensive by Alison Cochrane, I think. I don't have a copy with me, but I'll put the picture right here. And I read this book because it was on everybody's favorite book of the year, like list of the year last year. It was on everyone who reads romance book and have read that book, they put it in their favorite book of the year. So I was really intrigued. It's a bachelor inspired book. It's a romance. I love that one. It was so well done. I love the topics that the book touches on. I love the romance between the two characters. I loved everything about that book. It was so well done. I loved the mental health representation in that book. It was so cute, and their relationship was so freaking adorable. I just love them so much. I kind of want to buy a physical copy of it now. It was really surprising, even though as much as I love romance books, they tend to not stay with me in the long run. Like, I love romance books when I read them, but they're not ones that last with me. They're not ones that usually make an impression with me, like in the long run, but that one did. And I don't, like I said, I don't give 5 stars very often to romance book, but that one was amazing. I really liked it. It's one of my most surprising reads that I read so far, and I highly recommend it. The next question is a book that came out in 2022 already that you want to read but haven't. Sorry, I got cut off. What was I saying? I am not someone that follows very closely new releases. I have so many books on my TBR already. I do not need to add more of them on it. But there are a few books that have been going around recently that I really want to read, and one of them in particular is Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Sue Lee Tan. This is the gorgeous Prelude edition that I got, and I mean, besides the fact that this book is freaking gorgeous, I've heard some pretty good things about this one. I've heard that if you like Elizabeth Lim, if you like whimsical fantasy, then you'll like this book, which is 2 things that I really enjoy. So I have been really wanting to read this one soon. I kind of want to buy the regular edition to read because I don't feel like I could like read this one. Like, the actual book itself is white, and I just know I know if I read this one physically, it's not gonna stay white. So I kind of want to buy another copy of it just to actually read, because I mean, this book is just freaking gorgeous. Prelude really did an outstanding job on it, and it made me want to read this book even more because of how pretty the book is. But more importantly, I've heard some pretty good things about this one, so I've been wanting to read it. This one came out in January, if I'm not mistaken. I don't really know exactly what this book is about, except like I said, the fact that it's a whimsical fantasy. It's a fairy tale retelling. I'm pretty sure it's Asian inspired, so all things that I normally really enjoy, so I think I'm going to enjoy this book. Next question is one goal that you made that you're succeeding at. The goal that I think I'm focusing on the most is finishing off a series. I've already finished 2 series this year, which I'm really glad about, and I think I'm on my way to finishing off 2 other series pretty soon. So I'm really excited about that. That was a really big goal of mine because I have a really big problem where I read all the books in the series up until the last one, and then I keep the last one unread for like way too long. Like, if you look in my bullet journal, I do have a spread where I follow like series follow-up basically. So many books, it's just the last book that I haven't read. So Mistborn, I have the last book to read still, which I'm hoping I will do pretty soon. 6 of Crows, I haven't read the last book. Nevermore, I haven't read the last book. These Valiant Delights, I haven't read the last book. Poppy War, I still need to read the last book. Lord of the Rings, I still need to read the last book. So it's just a problem of mine where I read all the books in the series, and then the last one, I just don't know why, I just don't read it. I think I just don't want to finish off a series, but it's so satisfying when you do finish off a series that I really need to do more. And then the next question kind of ties in with that question, and it is one goal you made that you need to focus on. And that one is, I had a goal to read 6 French books this year, which when you think about it, 6, it's really not that bad. But I do not read in French, and I don't know why. I really should read more in French, and I've only read 1 book in French so far. So I really need to focus on that. I already bought like 2 books that I really want to read that I've heard really good things from some French booktubers, like French Canadian booktubers. This one I am the most excited about because I've heard so many good things about this one, and I really want to read it. I just really need to focus on reading more in French. And also, I have no excuses. I just haven't read in French and I don't know why. So that's it guys, those are all of the questions for this tag. Let me know in the comments down below what were your answer for these questions. I would love to know. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys have a wonderful day or night depending on when you're watching this, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!